Hey everybody, it's Miss Jerry Lynn. I'm so excited to be back with you again today for our Sunday school lesson. The name of our lesson today is Jesus Calms the Storm. So I'll read the story first. Jesus had been teaching the crowds all day. Jesus said to his followers, "Let's go across to the other side of the lake." They took a boat out into the water. Big, strong winds began blowing the water against and into the boat. The disciples were scared, but Jesus was asleep in the back of the boat. The disciples woke Jesus up and said, "Teacher, don't you care that we are drowning?" Jesus got up and told the wind to be silent and still. The wind settled down and everything was calm. Jesus asked the disciples, "Why are you afraid? Don't you have faith yet?" The disciples were filled with wonder because of what Jesus had done. They looked at each other and said, "Who is this man? The wind and the sea obey him." You might have heard this story before. A lot of times we talk about Jesus calming the ocean or calming the storm. There's a lot in this story, and there's a lot that we can learn about. What we're going to talk about today is the part where Jesus asked the disciples, "Why are you afraid? Don't you have faith yet?" We've talked a little bit about faith. Faith is believing. And as we grow older, our faith, our belief grows bigger and bigger and stronger. As we study the Bible, as we have our Sunday school lessons, we listen to Pastor Sally, our faith gets stronger and bigger in our heart. So he's saying, don't you have faith yet? Don't you trust me? Don't you think I can do great and wonderful things? I can calm this storm. I can take care of you. That's what he's saying to the disciples. And that's what he says to us. When we have a storm like a tornado or a big thunderstorm, or a storm in our heart, something that's got us very upset, or when we're afraid of something, maybe the dark, maybe sleeping in our bed by ourselves, that might be scary. Or if we have to stand up in front of our class, if we're back to school yet, you might have to do something in front of your class. That can be scary. All those things are like storms inside of us. But Jesus, if we have faith and God is there with us, those storms can calm down because that faith can guide us to knowing that we have the strength of Jesus with us. That's what our faith tells us. We don't have to do things alone. We have Jesus with us, and he helps us do things that are hard. So whenever we're afraid, whenever things are hard, whenever we have a storm going on, then we know through our faith, through our belief, that we have God, that Jesus is there, and that they are with us and they will help us through that storm and take care of us. So that can make us feel very safe and very comforted. You can remember that, and that's the way our prayers make us feel, because when we talk to God, that is how we feel, comforted and safe. And that's the way our faith makes us feel. You keep growing your faith. I know you are. Say your prayers, read your Bible, listen to your Sunday school lesson, watch Pastor Sally. I love you so much. See you later. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.
Hey friends, I hope everybody had a great week. This is Miss Jacqueline, and we are going to be doing our activity. So this week talks about when Jesus calmed the storm. And what we're going to do is we're going to make our own boats. So you're going to just look for different stuff around your house and build a boat. And then you're going to see if your boat will float. So what I did was I took Isabella's one of her old LOL cases, and I I made it pretty. I put a little sail on it, and I put something in it, and then these are my passengers. They're dragons because that's what I had. So I put them in here, and now I haven't tried it yet. We're going to see if it's going to float. All right, so I got my container. There's Isabella. I got my container of water, and it floats. And we have the storm, and then Jesus calms the storm. All right, so that's the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna make a boat, and I'd love to see a picture or a video of your boat. Sorry, the dog's being silly. And then you also have this paper. So this one gives us a nice little science lesson about the different types of clouds, and then you could draw your own clouds and skies here. And then on the back, it talks about how this same story is told in all four of the different books of the Bible. So it's told in Mark, Matthew, Mark, Matthew, and Luke. So go ahead and you could say what was the same in the stories here, and then what parts of it are different here. So that is that, and I hope you have a great week. Isabella, do you hope they have a great week too?
Yeah.
All right, have a great week from the Tant family. Bye, can't wait to see your boats.
Hi everybody, it's Miss Justine here, and today we are talking about when Jesus calmed the storm. When Jesus was out on the boat with his followers and the big storm came up and Jesus was asleep and they got scared, so they woke him up and Jesus spoke to the storm and it calmed down. Which, that's pretty amazing, right? Jesus can even control the weather, so you know he can take care of you and me. But what we're doing today is we're going to do a picture of Jesus calming the storm, and we're going to add some puff paint. I've already done some of the puff paint here, and you can make your picture as big or as small as you like. I used half a poster board here, and that's give me a lot of room for the puff paint. But so what we're going to do is Mr. David is going to make the puff paint to show you how it's done. Are you ready?
All right, let's do this.
All right. So, what we need for the puff paint is you should have a paper that shows you everything you need. It makes a lot, so if you're not doing a really big picture, you could mix it up and then maybe put it into two separate bowls and make two colors out of it. But first of all, we get 3/4 of a cup of shaving cream. I'm just getting the shaving cream and measuring it out. God, that looks good. I'll put it in the mixing cup. And next we need 1/4 of a cup of flour. This is just plain old flour like you would bake cookies with. Just make sure it's filled as much as you can. Okay, so 1/4 cup of flour, and we're going to mix that in with the shaving cream. And next we need 1/4 of a cup of glue, just white school glue. So there's our 1/4 of a cup of glue, and we're going to mix that in with the other stuff. Stir that all together and then add your food coloring. I tried it with paint, but it didn't work too well, so food coloring is probably the best. So get it all mixed together. And we're going to make blue this time, so we got our blue food coloring ready to go. Get it all mixed in there. Need to use a whole lot. It'll get very blue. So you mix it all up. And then once it's mixed, I know the paper says to use one of those squeeze bottles like for ketchup or mustard, but I kind of had a hard time with that. So, and you may not have those at home. So we found an easy way to do it is to get a sandwich bag. Just make sure it's the kind of sandwich bag that either presses closed or has a zipper. And I'm going to show you how to do that.
What do you think? Another couple of drops, or is that good?
I think that's good. That's nice and blue. Alright, so now we've got just a regular old zip top sandwich bag. Need some help. And we're going to go ahead and put it in there. Alright, and then after you get it all in there, you're going to close it up real good. And then he's going to squeeze it. If you squeeze it all down to one corner, okay, so we have it all in the bag. And watch how he's going to squeeze it down. Can you cut it too? And then you just clip the very tiny corner out of it. And now you have some puff paint. Those are some nice waves. You can put some big ones up on the side of the boat there. You can go over the puff paint for the boat and make some big waves. Just a little bit up over it.
And we'll take the remainder and kind of fill in the gaps a little bit here.
There, see how cool that looks? And it probably takes a few hours to dry. And then once it's dry, you can touch it. Like the yellow is totally dry now. So you want to give your puff paint a few hours to dry, away from, getting touched or kittens messing with it. There he is over there. Okay, I think that's good. And there you have it. There is Jesus calming the storm. There's his followers. They're amazed at what he can do. And I'll be amazed to see what you guys can do with your puff paint. Until next time.
Hey guys, it's Mr. Tony. I hope that you had a wonderful week. It's time to make a little bit of music with our Sunday school, so let's get started. So we've been talking a lot about rhythms and stuff, and I think rhythms are so cool. Rhythms are really the base of whatever we do when we're singing our songs, whenever we are making music together. And so, especially in this time when we can't really sing as much as we would like, rhythms, of course, are so important. And so, we've been going through the past few weeks and learning about different instruments, because when we take rhythms and we put those together with either our voices singing a song or an instrument playing a pitch, that's how we make music. So we can use different rhythms like half notes, which are how many beats, guys? 2 beats. Or whole notes, which are how many beats? 4 beats. So we can have half notes, whole notes. We can combine those with things like quarter notes, which are this note, which are 1 beat, or eighth notes, which are 1/2 a beat. And of course, right here we have a half note, which again is 2 beats. All kinds of ways to make this combination work. So today I've asked a special guest to come and demonstrate a new instrument that plays all of these different rhythms. This is Mr. Will, and he's going to join us here in just a few minutes, and he's going to show us how the bass guitar works. The bass guitar is a string instrument, but it also uses some electronics to make it louder so that we can hear it better. Remember, string instruments are instruments that use strings that vibrate to make the sound. And it's really easy for the bass guitar to play all the different rhythms and notes that we've been talking about. Quarter notes, eighth notes, half notes, and whole notes. So when Mr. Will gets here in just a minute, we're going to go over those different types of notes, and we're going to go over what the bass guitar is, because it's a really cool and unique instrument. So I hope that you'll take something away from this, and maybe one day one of you guys might want to play a bass guitar. Hey guys, it's Mr. Tony, and I'm here at the church, and we have been talking about different types of musical instruments for a while now. Last week we talked about brass instruments, and we've talked about the piano, which is a string instrument and a percussion instrument, but we haven't really talked about just string instruments. So I'm here with Mr. Will, and he's got a bass guitar with him. And we're going to look at this bass guitar and kind of see what is a bass guitar and exactly how does it work and what does it sound like. So, Mr. Will, what do you have with you?
So, hey everybody, and thank you, Mr. Tony, for letting me talk about the bass guitar. So the bass guitar, as you said, is a stringed instrument. It has a body, this big piece of wood. The whole thing is made of wood. There's some metal parts that you will see, kind of shiny. But this is the body of the guitar.
And it's painted.
And it's painted a nice flashy red color, and it's got a cool pick guard to keep us from hitting the paint when we're playing the guitar. And then it has a neck, and it has these strings, and when we hit these strings, it makes noise. Like that. Sometimes good noise, and sometimes like a lot of noise. And we strum, so that's strumming. So the guitar is used to play along, like Mr. Tony said, a stringed instrument. So a stringed instrument would have strings like this, and I'm sure Mr. Tony will tell you more about that. The bass guitar is a very low, I can't make my voice go low. Maybe Tony, can you do it?
Voice. Very low.
Big low voice. So it goes from very low to very high, but not quite as high as our piano, right? So this is the bass guitar. Anything else we should
So
talk
the
about?
strings, they vibrate, and that's how you make the sound. So you can look at the strings and they kind of move back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, we may even be able to show you that. Kind of watch this. So you can see the string vibrating in there as I pluck it. So each string has a different tone. And then we have these wires in the neck that are called frets. And that's how we make different notes along the guitar, like this. And then sometimes we can play fun things like. And we just kind of play along, and I use my voice, so this is my musical voice to make music with Mr. Tony and other people around. So there are a lot of different instruments, but the bass guitar is kind of my chosen one. And you can see there are controls. So there's a volume knob and a tone knob, and this holds our strings nice and tight so they make different sounds.
Cool. Can you tell the guys, how is it making a sound? I see this big cord coming out of the guitar.
Sure. So like I said, I didn't do a great job, but here we go. So there's a volume knob here, and then you see this jack. So this plugs in. This is a cord, just like a regular kind of electrical cord, but a special one called a patch cord. And this plugs into this socket on the guitar, and then it goes along the floor, and I'll kind of bring the amp up so you can see. So over here I have an amplifier, and this is an amplifier, and you can see the cord plugs in, and then when I play, it makes noise, and I can make it louder, and softer with these knobs. So I have controls here to control the sound and the volume of my bass guitar.
That's awesome. That's really cool information. So we've been talking about different rhythms. And so we've talked about quarter notes, we've talked about half notes, we've talked about whole notes, and we've even talked some about eighth notes. And you can play all of those rhythms on a bass guitar. So you can play a whole note, a note that lasts 4 beats and it lasts for a long time, or you can play really fast.
That's
There's
right.
a lot of different options you can do with a bass guitar. Pretty much any rhythm you can play.
That's right, and when we play those rhythms, the way we do that is with our hands, right? Just like whether we're drumming or playing a different percussive instrument like the piano or something like that, or the bass guitar. So like Mr. Tony said, if I wanted to play a whole note, I would say, see if I can, so you can see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. And if I wanted to play halves, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, just like that. So we just control that, and I play notes. I play notes with this hand and rhythms with this hand down here.
Very cool. Well, I certainly love listening about and hearing about the bass guitar. I think that's really neat. So I hope that you guys have as well. I hope that you find some way to find some music this week and can make some music around you. And I can't wait to see you all next week. Take care, guys.
Make music, have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I wonder how you made